Guess I'll end the silence. So this is a 1998 Ferrell 60E case. Casting number reads 8AFD199J. I had flat sand this entire area along with the pan rails. 3/4 accumulator piston bore is good. I polished that up. I polished up the case connector bore. Someone had taken out the low reverse check ball capsule. It's completely gone. So I'm going to be putting a new one in there along with a rear case bushing. I've cleaned out all the oil pan bolt holes. Of course, they're going to need it again. I shined up the 2/4 band anchor bore. I'll get this turned around again. This is the inside, of course. I took some Scotch-Brite to this sealing surface of the case for the pump and for the gasket, pump gasket. I shined up, can't really tell in there, around the inner seal part of the case for the low reverse piston. I polished up this sealing surface along with this sealing surface. I cleaned up the inside. Got the aluminum looking better than it did. I cleaned out every one of these bell housing bolt holes. All the case lugs are good. Turn this around again. The left side. I scrubbed the outside down. I still need to go over it to get all any kind of oil and grease off of it. Make the surface more paint friendly, I guess you can call it. I did do this. I filed this down with a flat file, and I come in and I sand it down smooth. Same for the top. I've done this to a few transmissions, and the transmissions I've sold to people, they seem to like it, so keep with what works, I guess. I've sanded this down flat and flush. These probably won't get painted over. Well, once the transmission is painted, I'll take and clean these off along with these here, so it'll stand out from the paint. I did clean up these bosses here for a neutral safety switch. I cleaned up the bore here for the shaft. I was going to clean this part here, but that would be just too much for one side. I'll get this turned over to the other side now. Okay, so here's the right side again. I did do something different with this one. I took this part of the housing right here and I flattened it where I have a straight part of this whole thing instead of like what I did to this one. You see that part right there is painted black because that whole thing there is still around. So instead of doing the same thing to this one, and I think, yeah, it ends to that one. It did the same thing to that one. So, so this one's different. Followed it down flat. It's not going anywhere near the inside of that hole, as you can tell freely. So I got more of a solid strip there instead of half. Kind of almost did the same thing to the top. So, and then you got your boss for your wiring harness on. So it's flat and smooth and polished. And then I do the case connector platform. I clean these off like this because once you paint it and then you stick that case connector through there, those little 4 tabs will scratch the paint off and it'll look like crap. So I figured out why just deal with that when I could just clean this off, polish it down, and make it look good and not have to worry about paint getting chipped off. And just a little idea here. So this is originally flat. So what I do is I polish the front up here, get it nice and looking good. Then I'll sit there and kind of design, or whatever you want to call it, machine this part right here, kind of give it a kind of like a slope to it. And I polish it down, make it look nice and shiny. And people like that idea as well. So when I get ready to paint this case, this whole thing would be covered up. This would be covered up. That would be covered up along with these. And these I'll just say, primer it, then wait for that to dry, and then sand the paint off of that on both sides. Then give it this color, more permanent color, enamel, and then sand these off again and have those come out like that. I took some Scotch-Brite to this. It may not look like it, but that is just literally just staining inside the aluminum. I found the focus in there. So I took Scotch-Brite to the whole thing all the way around it before this got done. So what I plan to do is get the low reverse check ball capsule installed into it, the rear case bushing, and then the low reverse piston, this bad boy here. I gotta clean it up before it goes in, but put some new seals on this. Got 2 outsides and 1 inside, and install that into this case, all that into this case before I paint it. I like to put those in before I paint them, so that way if I paint this case and I go to hammer those in, I don't want any chip paint to happen, especially along this back part here. or anywhere else on it. So I'll put those in first and then go forward from there. I did polish out the dipstick tube top hat bore. Yeah, so basically that black stuff, just like the staining of the aluminum, no matter how much you go over that with Scotch spray, it'll never get it out. So I do what I can to get it smoothed down so the pump seal doesn't drag or get torn on it. I don't remember what year I'd call. Yeah, I did state the year of this transmission, 98. And that's his bell housing. Haven't even got started on that yet. I mean, I do all this by hand. I don't use a machine to wash down my cases. To me, I think that's a really bad idea, because once it comes out, you start getting all that white corrosive crap that aluminum is known for. So I clean them all down by hand, and I use 2 different kinds of solutions that prevents that white crusty stuff to appear. And then I get all ready to be painted, and then after that, don't have to worry about it. So, I do want to make a note on this that I am getting ready to work on the blue transmission. I have gotten pretty much all its parts now. That guy right there. So, show what we got here. So instead of going with the Servo cover that's on this blue one, I decided to go this route. I think that'll look better on there. Plus I want to keep that other cover. And then we have our 2/4 band, extra wide, of course. And there's a part number on there. What's that say? Okay, yep. Raybestos. So I got that. Back in there. So we got that. Try to dig everything out here. Got the brand new reverse input drum. Let me get this out of the box. There we are. Got some new brass bushings installed into it. That over there. I'll grab the other box for this. Box of parts for this, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I decided to go this route for this transmission. Sonnax Smart Shell. Bag out of there. There she is. If I can get it to agree with me here. Something like that. So we have our thrust bearing, welded sleeve on the outside, reinforces the hub, prevents it from breaking, and this shell is very balanced. You spin inside the case and it doesn't wobble or nothing. I know that sounds funny, but that's the only way I can describe it. And then this little guy here. So inside the center support, I'll grab that here in a minute. Let me grab it. Up there. Okay, so here we have your original OEM style inner race. You pop this guy out, take this guy, put it in its place. This inner race is made a certain way to accept this thrust washer. Just like that. Which is kind of weird because it almost looks like that thrust bearing would work on that guy. Look at that. Whee! But I'm just going to keep it all together. So there you have it there. So I'll save the building of this transmission for another video. The building of the blue one. The King Fred blue and black. Put this upside down there. Put this back on there. And there. Let's see. I think that's the only tag on here, yeah. So there's that fun part. Put that back in there. I am going with the thrust bearing style forward reaction shaft for this. The ring gear and all that fun jazzy stuff. I really wanted to go with a 5-pinion in the back. But you know, your 5-pinion and 4-pinion, let me rephrase that. 5-pinion and the 4-pinion, the rating on them are about the same of how much they can handle. And these pinions are good. They don't wobble. And they got the Sonnax extra wide bushing in there for that guy. There. And then, yeah. Guess we'll go with the. It goes onto that part right there. There. Thrust bearing. There you go. I knew you wasn't quite home there. Okay, so what you're doing with the other inner race, this is made for that inner race. For your 4-tab plastic thrust washer. We ain't using that. You got your 4-pinion forward planetary. Its pinions are good. Exhaust bearing is good. Got a wavy on there. Put it there. Also wanted to go with a different back half, where it's more smooth from the edge here down. Is just a one fluid, like almost goes on a flush, or not a flush, slant, whatever. Wanted to go with that too, but I don't know. Splans in there is all good. And then we got new bushings in the forward sun gear. Picked up a quart of Dex 3 Mercon 5 tranny fluid for this transmission. I tell you, Walmart has got a very poor selection on transmission fluid. Oh my God, I tell you, they got more motor oil than they do transmission fluid. Now they're a toss up between this one and Ford, and I ain't gonna put Ford in a Chevy transmission. No, we ain't doing that. So I don't know if I did a video of this yet, but this is the 3/4 clutch. This is 14 clutches in here. And yes, I was able to make it work. So this is the Sonnax improved apply plate and backing plate. And they're actually pretty light, and they're actually made out of aluminum. So I was kind of shocked, amazed. I did have to go and buy a new forward backing plate for the forward clutch. I did not have one in my extra parts, so figured what the hell, for this transmission, why not? Put a new one in it. So, well, bam, there it is. And the kit this clutch came with the 3/4 load release spring kits. The springs on these are just a tad bit taller than your stock OEM spring. So that's what's in there. And these are Alto Red Eagle. I mean, look at that. Got my spacing just right between the plate and the top clutch. Got ourselves a new loop seal in there. Now, it does say if you go to use this style backing plate and apply plate, to take your forward reaction shaft hub and test fit it. Which I have, but I'm just doing this for video purposes. There she is. She's home. Looks like that. I think what they mean by test fit because of the measurements between the width of the hub and the measurements between the width of the backing plate to make sure they clear. And they do clear. So. There's that. So we do have all the clutches right here. I'm gonna get talented here. Everybody needs to see my address. So this is the clutches that are going in this transmission. These are the 3/4 that I'm not using. They're like just 6 clutches I'll be putting away for another build. Probably most likely the one behind me. The transmission I'm cleaning up. So this is the low reverse clutch. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's low reverse. So, like I said, the forward clutches and overrun clutches are already installed into the housing there. I don't know if I mentioned this, but housing has been reinforced with the Sonnax reinforcement kit. It's got the piston, the steel ring. Got another one here. I'll pull it out and show. So that right there. So that's on the inside of the hub around the. You get the point. You get the idea. So that's around that, and then the aluminum pistons in there. So it's a reinforced forward housing. I think they said that the that kind of thing makes this housing be able to handle up to 750 plus horsepower without grenading the housing. So that's in there, and the forward and overrun clutch pistons are hyper blue. They are not the OEM black. I like the blue better than I do the black. Just personal preference. And while the reverse input drum has new clutches, also has new Turbulator steels. And then this kit here is for the low reverse for this blue transmission, and they are the same kind, Turbulator steels. Has these little notches in it. That's going to go in this blue one right here. But what I'll do is I'll install these clutches and these steels and a center support. I'll take the inner race out, so I won't put the other one in that center support until I check the clearances of my clutches for the low reverse. Make sure those are happy and ready to be put together for their life or whatever. And as soon as I find out the clearance on those, then I'll go ahead and soak my clutches. I like to soak my clutches at least overnight, because I do sell these transmissions, so they do sit for a little bit. There's that guy right there too. So I'll soak my clutches overnight, and what I do is I take this here pan, I put my clutches in there. Gotta clean the pan out, of course. So what I'll do is I put the the reverse input in first, the overrun, the forward, the 3/4, and then a low reverse. So that way everything will be basically going in order of how they're being installed into the transmission. I hate cork gaskets. So that's the scoop on that. Put this guy away, don't need it, on. Over there. So, but I'm not going to do this right now. I'm not going to put this transmission together tonight. I'll most likely just go ahead and do it tomorrow. That's using the old noodle. Right there. So. Okay. Yeah, get the pump for it ready to go. And I haven't decided yet, but I was thinking of taking that oil pan and painting it blue, just like that. Leaving the bellhouse in black, and then the pump black, but make the oil pan the same color as the case. So. I think that's it. I think this is a long enough video. I don't want to bore too many people. Kind of a mess. Always good to keep a nice, semi-organized work area. A lot easier that way. So, I might do a video on this one of it being primered maybe, and for sure painted, but I'll have to think about the primering part. If I actually want to do a video of a transmission case being primered. Yeah. I think that would be good, unfortunately.